What's up, party people? Today's video is reacting to really bad Goodreads reviews, part 3. I did part 1 and 2, I think, last year, and then I dropped the ball on continuing the series, even though a lot of people think it's funny and they liked it, because I was not really paying attention to Goodreads, basically. Things are just weird on there lately. But then I read a silly review for one of the books that I just recently finished. I was like, wait, I can do this again. Like, let's jump on the ball with part 3. And so I do have a piece of paper that I have notes on. So if I'm looking down, it's the notes, because I have some thoughts on a few of these. I'm gonna say right up front, I whited out a lot of information because I don't want anyone to be harassed or bullied on my part. Not saying that you all would, but there's always one silly person that wants to act out, and maybe they just happen to find this video and then they're gonna, you know, start harassing these people on Goodreads, and I'm not for that. That's why I made these people fairly anonymous. Number 1, I'm gonna put it all on the screen for you to see and read for yourself. I'm the girl. Now, this is 3 stars, it's totally fine. I rounded up I'm the girl to 4 stars, but it was more like a 3.5. So I get it, but it's just content warnings, and content warnings aren't a review, they're just warnings. So, but you're starting to see this a lot, I don't know why, where people will rate it and then their review is just a huge list of content warnings, and some of them are just silly, like death. Just because death never happens in the real world every second of every day. We need a content warning about death. Like, yeah, there's just some that I don't even know. This one made me laugh. At least these aren't like the ones like death or hunting, which I've seen before. Very broad. I mean, this is a little specific. Now, if you do content warnings and then a review, totally understandable, but I'm not understanding the trend of just content warnings. That's not a review to me personally. So number 2 is The Visionist. It is 1 star. However, the reviewer said that it's an interesting background on the Shakers and well researched. So why give it the 1 star? This one is like where I'm just confused. I've seen it happen before where it was on a Morgan Llewellyn book, and this reviewer said it was a great book, but I only give 1 stars to historical fiction, maybe 2 stars. And so I don't compute that. I really don't understand. Maybe historical fiction is not for you if automatically every single historical fiction book that you read will be 1 star, and on the rare occasion, like amazingly, a 2 star. I don't understand that as well. Can you understand? I don't understand it. Help me understand in the comments. I don't know. Maybe you don't understand, but someone has to help. I don't get it. Okay, number 3, it's the Federalist Papers, and this is nonfiction, and it is definitely a dry read, right? I started it 2 pages in, and I'm just like, you know, I don't have the bandwidth, the time, the energy, the need right now in 2022. I'm having some problems personally. I just need to get away. I need to go into a world of fun and excitement and happiness. And the Federalist Papers aren't for me right now. However, I never thought it was a comedy. But this reviewer thinks that it's a bad comedy. So the reviewer didn't laugh and thinks that the writer, Alexander Hamilton, needs to get better at writing comedy. I'm about to lose my shit. In the summary, it tells you everything you need to know about the Federalist Papers. So is this a troll? I wonder if it's a troll and it's based on Alexander Hamilton the musical. But that's not a comedy either. It's not a comedy. So I'm just confused. Help me in the comments. This is where we're gonna get into a big discussion because it needs to be said. So number 4 is The Only Good Indians. 1 star. So this person says it's not a horror and a thriller, and they don't understand how Elkhead Woman is scary, or even the concept is scary. So therefore it should have never been placed in horror or thriller, but they don't say where it should be placed. This happens a lot with this particular book. It's really about cultural understanding and societal understanding of indigenous cultures. So I knocked off 1 star for all the basketball bits because I just don't care about sports whatsoever, and it was a bit tedious. However, basketball is a huge part of many indigenous people's culture, society, everyday life, and the main character in Elkhead Woman playing basketball is oddly funny, and I don't think it is read 100% seriously, but it does make sense if you know a lot about the cultural background of basketball. And so my friend Matu, who's also my cover artist, they knocked off a star for basketball as well, but they are Cherokee and completely understand the cultural relevance, like really understand, right? But some people just don't want to read all those pages about sports. Me, hi, I don't care. But even if you don't like basketball or you hate it with a burning passion because you don't like sports and you've given your reasons and all that jazz, you still understand where Stephen Graham Jones is coming from. Now, going on to Elkhead Woman and the background of that and how it's scary, and it would be a horror or a thriller for people that either, 1, understand indigenous culture or they are indigenous themselves. On the reservation, I can't say for every single tribe in the United States. It could also be different in Canada and in South America. They're not a monolith, but the majority that I know of, there is a specific hunting season, right? And you have to follow those rules, and it's on the reservation, and the elders have special times and dates where they are the only ones that can hunt. And so in The Only Good Indians, there are 4 young men that go to hunt elk during the elders' time of hunting, and like in the middle of the night. And so they know that they're not supposed to do this. And so they get into trouble because it's found out, and there's other stuff that goes on as well with the details. Don't want to spoil it totally if you're interested in reading it, but they did something wrong. Oh, and it's funny that my light, when I say Elkhead Woman and getting into it, starts to flicker. Scary. Elkhead Woman? Are you listening? If the light starts to flicker, then we know she is present. She just wants to get the vibe that it's in fact a horror and thriller novel as we're discussing this topic. I get it. I understand. Anyway, the other big thing about this is one of them kills a female elk that is pregnant. Basically, he defiles the body, and it's very graphic. Kind of already know from the start this isn't gonna go well because you just defiled the body for really no reason. That character in particular does a haphazard, horrible burial, and it doesn't, it's not good. right? And so that springs up Elkhead Woman to take revenge on these 4 young men, and it takes years to get to that point. But when Elkhead Woman finally emerges, you know, biding her time, watching these men, they don't see it coming, because like they've already been, a lot of them have been shunned. They got into trouble and they're not trusted anymore, even though I think it's a decade later. So like they're in their early to mid 20s at this point, but they're still not trusted. That is scary when you mess up, and they messed up. They broke the rules. They did not follow the law. They did not follow the traditions, and they did not respect the elders. They did not respect the elk. They did not respect the land. They didn't respect their reservation. That is a huge deal. So this is where the understanding comes into play. Already you're set up like this is going to be bad because you messed up, and that's something that, I mean, could take decades for forgiveness, or maybe you're not even forgiven, especially the ones that don't care, or like they don't see that anything's wrong, or maybe they're pretending to be sorry to just get back into the good graces of the community. But yeah, you did a lot wrong, and that is something that a lot of people don't understand. And so that is not a thriller, that's not a horror book. And then also the whole point of how can Elkhead Woman come about? You read books with elves and fairies and centaurs and all that stuff, so why can't you like suspend disbelief for Elkhead Woman? I don't understand. You can totally accept Western mythological creatures, but this one, it's not believable. Okay. But there are cultural aspects that you basically need to know for you to understand the Only Good Indians. And so people that have no knowledge whatsoever and don't even want to research or try to care about indigenous culture, specifically in North America, well, then you're not going to think that this is a thriller or a horror book. Did it scare me? No, but it creeped me out, and there's a lot of messed up things that happen to these 4 men and their loved ones, and I'm just like, oh, that's not good. Like, oh my god. Lots of chopping, chop, but Elkhead Woman is seeking revenge, and the main character, a teenage girl, ends the suffering of Elkhead Woman and her baby, and I liked that ending. And a lot of people were like, oh, that's not how it's supposed to go for the final girl. But the final girl trope is annoying at this point. So I really appreciated that Stephen Graham Jones did a new twist that is culturally relevant, and that is different, and that is very powerful. You can't say that it's not a horror or thriller book because you don't like the concept of Elkhead Woman and you don't think that it's scary. That's just my opinion, though. And lastly, Coraline says 1-star rating, but the reviewer says that it's 3.5 stars. And again, I'm still confused as why people do this. I think you should pay attention. Like, if you originally had it as 3 stars and then you knocked it down to 1 star for whatever reason, your business, right? But then you say 3.5 stars and then had like a that cute saying, I don't know if it's cute, but like the relevant saying about the rats. I agree. I don't like the rats. It's really creepy. But you know, that's relatable, and a lot of people would agree with that as well in the book. But then you still have it as 3.5. I don't know, I'm confused again. I've seen people update their reviews, and then they'll say that actually, you know, I'm knocking it down or I'm bringing it up to for these reasons. Totally acceptable. Love it when you do that. Very clarifying. But when you just have it's rated 1 star and then, but the review says 3.5, I don't know. The whole video is me confused and laughing, and then that one thing with the only good Indians, I'm gonna have a discussion with you about it. I don't know. I mean, that's a good mix, right? Some Goodreads reviews just leave you either laughing, confused, or you want to have a discussion about it. So I think I hit the nail on the head for all of the themes, right? Especially the Federalist paper one. That had me laughing for 5 minutes straight. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I probably will have to edit out some of my laughs because I don't know if you all want to see that, but I will keep in some, okay? ASMR, laughing my head off over Goodreads reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Goodreads reviews. More like a reaction video, but it's totally fine. I'm kind of reviewing and I'm reacting. It works. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, reading, writing, whatever else you're doing. Bye!